I didn't walk away to make a statement or to cause her pain. I left because staying would have destroyed me beyond repair. There comes a point when love no longer feels like a safe place and instead turns into a battleground. When the person you once trusted most becomes the very source of your hurt and doubt, you don't stick around to see how much deeper the damage can cut. You leave. Even when every step feels like tearing away pieces of your own soul. That's exactly what I did. I walked out, carrying a heart in fragments. For months, I told myself she had moved on easily. That I had never mattered as much as I believed. That she hadn't even once looked back. I clung to those thoughts until the day I saw her again, standing in the rain, and suddenly every lie I'd been telling myself collapsed. It hadn't always been this way. Once, we were inseparable. Midnight drives with no destination. Silly jokes only we understood. Dreams whispered in the dark, secrets belonging only to us. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. It was ours. Or at least, that's how it felt to me. But slowly, I sensed her pulling away. Not because she stopped caring completely, but because she stopped trying. The little gestures that once meant everything started to fade. No more good morning texts. No more bright smile when I walked into the room. No more effort to meet me halfway. I convinced myself it was just a rough season, that life had worn her down, that things would eventually return to what they once were. But they didn't. She kept retreating, step by step, until one day, I realized I was the only one still holding on. The night everything fell apart, I had tried to save us. I cooked her favorite dinner, lit candles, poured her wine of choice. Nothing extravagant, just thoughtful. She came home late, barely noticing, mumbling something about being tired. I might have believed her if I hadn't seen the notification flash on her phone. It wasn't a love letter, but the warmth in that message was the kind she once saved only for me. The way her face softened while reading it told me more than words ever could. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I didn't beg. I simply walked to the bedroom, packed a bag, and left. My phone stayed silent for weeks. No calls. No texts. No attempts to reach me. Maybe she thought she was giving me space. Or maybe letting me go was easier than I imagined. That silence spoke louder than any goodbye. So I did what I had to do. I started over. New apartment. New routines. A new life built around hidden scars no one could see. But in the quiet moments, questions gnawed at me. Was I never enough? Was she happier without me? Those thoughts stayed buried until one gray October afternoon when the rain pulled them all back to the surface. I had just left a shop, tugging my jacket over my head as the drizzle picked up, when I saw her across the street. She stood still, no umbrella, rain soaking through her hair and clothes. Her eyes locked on me, and my heart faltered. She looked fragile, worn out, like sleep had been avoiding her for days. But her eyes, the same ones I once adored, were unchanged. I froze. Part of me wanted to turn away, disappear. But before I could decide, my body was already moving toward her. By the time I reached her, we were both drenched, yet neither of us spoke. At last, she broke the silence. I didn't know how to face you. I thought you hated me. That's why I stayed away. But not a single day has gone by without me thinking of you. Her voice trembled as she stepped closer. I wanted to call so many times, but I didn't deserve to hear your voice. I made mistakes. I didn't cheat, but I gave a piece of myself to someone else, something that should have been yours. And I'll regret that forever. Rain streamed down her cheeks as she continued, softer this time. I can't undo what I did. I'm not here to ask you to take me back. I just need you to know I'm sorry. You shouldn't have carried that pain alone. Something inside me shifted. The heavy weight I'd carried for months began to ease. I reached into my coat pocket and handed her a napkin I'd grabbed earlier. She let out a shaky laugh, tears mingling with rain. Still so thoughtful, she whispered. I managed a faint smile. We stood there in silence a little longer. Not as lovers, not as friends, but simply as two people who had once shared something deep, finally speaking their truths. I'm glad you're okay, she said gently. So am I replied. She turned, walking away through the rain. And for the first time since that night, I didn't feel shattered. I felt lighter. Free. Sometimes closure doesn't come when you chase it. Sometimes it finds you months later, in the rain, wrapped in an apology. And sometimes real healing isn't about winning someone back. It's about finally letting go.